And good day. So here we are now down at the bench, and we'll have to start with a quick look at the instructions again. I'm not gonna do a review. Sorry about the noise of the chair. I'm not gonna do a review because I've done a review already of this kit. I will link this in the description. But let's have a look here. So the instruction sheet gives us a bit of an idea what we need to do. It also gives you a wonderful little bit of history and why it is one of the greatest sports cars in the 30s and so on and so forth. And very, very important things here, like the engine capacity is 2336 cubic centimeters. So I think it was a 2.5 liter limit on this particular formula at the time, and obviously won quite a few Grand Prix. And Tasio Nuvolari obviously was one of the famous Alfa Romeo drivers, which is this gentleman right over here. Right, then what we normally then do is we check the sprues. I have done that. It tells you also what wrench to use for what nut. And it tells you that in English and Italian. Here we go. Remove paint where parts are glued together. It gives you that as well. And maybe take the microphone down, people can hear you better. And then it also gives you the wheels, tires, etc. As I said, we have had a look in the description. Then here it gives you a bit of the ideas of how many nuts and bolts and stuff is in here. It is it's not a model factory hero kit, but it is a kit which has a couple of things which might be interesting. And let me see if I have actually an instruction sheet online. I think that would be fantastic. Let's put if you're wondering what instructions there are, on Scalemates, scalemates.com, if you move to that car, you come to a point where you can actually download the instructions. So we can close this now and put that to one side. And we will then have a look at the instructions over here. Let me see if I can show you that. And here you are, there they are. Can make this a little bit smaller. No, that's the wrong one, this one. So now you see what I see as far as the instructions are concerned. Right, now we just roll down a bit and have a look. So that's what I told you. What you see all the parts, different kind of tubing which you have right over here. Gives you an idea of the legends of where to put holes and not holes. A couple of screws which you have over here. Here is a bit of a scale linear in centimeters, and then we have the color call out, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not overly complicated, so that should be pretty easy to do. And then they start out with the frames. Very interesting. So the question is, oh, look at that. That is the dampers. You can see the detail over here. So that's what they did in the old days. These were basically the shock absorbers. They didn't have shock absorbers. So in order for them not to bounce around like a pogo stick on these leaf springs, they had these dampeners, and you could, depending on the territory you're driving on, you could set them stiffer or less stiff, and they would then dampen the spring action of your leaf springs. Quite a few screws, etc. pp. So these obviously all need to be pre-painted. Quite interesting. Same here. They obviously have a color. The color is B or D, and if we go back up and see what B or D is, we will see that B is either gloss red or D flat gun metal. So one of the two, whatever you like. Obviously not every car was the same. On the instruction sheet itself, they are red. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. So we obviously prime them first, so that's if we have a little bit time to think about. We have differentials right over here, and that all goes together on here. Pretty cool engine right over there. That looks nice. And oh, look at that. 8 cylinders, or 8 spare plus. Doesn't necessarily mean 8 cylinders, but it was. You can see here. And distributor right over here. Other parts right over here. Obviously it had side draft carburetors. In those days they didn't have top carburetors like we had before we got fuel injection, because the seals weren't good enough, and overnight when there was petrol in the carburetor, the petrol would all drip into the cylinders, and when you start the engine you might crack your cylinder block. So you don't want that. So they had side draft carburetors, and then they had a vacuum system to get petrol into the car. So this is what we are having right over here. Cabling, that looks pretty cool. Now the question is, where do we start? Where do we start? What I normally do, I start with the body, but the body, we go to the body, here we go. That obviously also needs to be printed in Ferrari red. So maybe we should find everything which needs to be painted Ferrari red, or Rossa, whatever red they recommend. What red do they recommend? Let's have a look in the Ferrari Alfa. It will kill me. They just call it gloss red. So yeah, it looks a bit darker than gloss red, but anyway, that red, which we will find out what that is, we will put the body, and it's not only the body, there are many parts which are red. And see this yellow stripe, I wonder if that is a decolor if you have to paint it on. There's a yellow stripe right running over there, so I'm not too sure. So what do you think? Should we do the body first? I think we should do the body first. Do the body first, sand it, get it nice and smooth, prime it, re-smooth it, and get it its final color. Maybe even put a bit of a clear coat on it. Not a 2K. This is not a 2K car. And then we'll take it from there. I'm sure the seat was not red, that was black. So yeah, I think we start with the body. Do that, because then we can clear coat it and let it dry to one side, give it proper time to dry and all of that. So the color for red, color code for red is, geez, scroll. B. So anything which is B, maybe we should try and get that out. Yeah, I'm still on the fence with those, but we get those out as well. Maybe we start with those. All right, get those out, clean them up, and once we have done that, we will go on with the other stuff, because I mean it all needs to be primed first anyway. So what final color I then decide upon, well, that is then up to me. So that's what we're going to do. Here we go. We're going to cut them all out, and then we're going to clean them up. So I'll cut them all out, and I'll see you once I've done that. It gets a bit boring. Right, and here we are. These are all the little parts which will make up the dampeners for the front and the rear. Cut them all out, put them into different places so I don't lose them. And obviously, if you're kind of a simple-minded person like I am, then you do them one by one. So what I will do now, I will now clean them up. I will use my sander right over here, which is something which I got from a nail shop. Just go over the rough stuff and especially the seams. Just making sure that the worst is gone. And if you're not quite sure, you're an old fart, don't be too proud to use one of these visors. They work very well. They show what you have missed, which I have quite a bit here. Or you watch it afterwards on your video when it's too late. That obviously is the other way to do it. Right, and that's about it. Now that is a little bit on the rough side, so I take one of my UMP sanders right over here. Just give them a little once over, just to make sure they are as smooth as I want them. If they are not, then we'll give them another once over here. And here we are, and that will keep you going for a little while. So we put them here. Now which one is finished. And now we do all of these, we do all of these, and we do all of these. I might check in with you once we got to these, because we use a slightly different sander. But otherwise, we are pretty much what we're doing here. That is something which I need. I'll rather keep this here to one side, and we will check it out. So here we are. That's what we do. We're going to clean all this stuff. I'll check within you as soon as I have done that.